Hello friends. Let's take a deep dive into one of the most misunderstood, yet fascinating signs of the zodiac, Capricorn in the realm of friendship. People often think of Capricorns as serious, career-driven, and maybe even a little cold, but when you look closer, you'll discover a completely different story. When Capricorn opens the gates of friendship, you're entering a world of loyalty, stability, and surprising humor. To give you the clearest picture, I've broken this down into 7 key dimensions, where we'll uncover both their strengths and shadows. The foundation of Capricorn friendship: steadfast and reliable. If you want to understand what makes a Capricorn an exceptional friend, you need to imagine a stone wall built by master hands. Each brick carefully placed, every gap filled with precision, the structure meant to endure storms, heat, and decades of wear. That's what Capricorn friendship is: a construction of time, patience, and dedication, built to last. When life becomes turbulent, when plans collapse, when promises by others dissolve like smoke, Capricorn remains in place. They are not the type who disappears when things get messy, nor do they fold under pressure. Instead, they dig their heels into the ground, take a deep breath, and brace themselves so they can support not only themselves but also the people they care about. For Capricorn, reliability is not an accessory trait, it is the very backbone of their character. When you call them at midnight because you're stranded on the side of the road, they'll answer. When you're facing heartbreak and need someone who won't simply nod sympathetically but will help you make a plan to get back on your feet, Capricorn is the one who shows up. They may not bring a box of tissues and dramatic pep talks, but they'll bring clarity, realism, and comfort that feels like solid ground under your shaky legs. In their world, friendship is not a fleeting spark, it is a long-burning flame that is carefully tended. They see their bonds with people as investments, much like they view their careers, ambitions, or financial stability. To Capricorn, every relationship is a choice, and they don't choose lightly. If you are in their inner circle, you can be certain that you're there because they've weighed your presence, your value, and the potential of your loyalty. They don't make emotional decisions without reflection, which means if they've chosen you, they are in it for the long haul. Yet, their loyalty is not given freely, and this is where many misunderstand them. Capricorn doesn't offer their trust like a sample at the supermarket, handed to anyone passing by. Instead, they measure, they observe, they take their time. They want to see whether your words align with your actions. They notice whether you show up when you said you would, whether you keep promises no matter how small, whether you respect their time and boundaries. To them, these aren't trivial details. They're the metrics by which they determine if you're worth anchoring themselves to. They are quietly assessing in ways you might never even realize, testing your consistency, your sense of responsibility, and your ability to handle the weight of commitment. This process may feel intimidating to some, as though Capricorn sets up silent trials no one has explicitly agreed to. But the truth is, this is simply their way of safeguarding themselves from shallow or unreliable connections. For Capricorn, friendship is not about collecting dozens of casual companions to fill space. It is about building a circle of trust so solid it can carry them through a lifetime. Once you pass their invisible tests, the reward is extraordinary. You gain access to a friend who is not only present but deeply invested in your growth, your well-being, and your stability. The reliability of a Capricorn friend goes beyond mere physical presence, it's emotional steadiness. They are not prone to emotional volatility or sudden withdrawals of affection. Even when life weighs them down with personal burdens, they continue to hold space for their friends, making sure that those they care for don't feel abandoned. This doesn't mean they're endlessly patient with irresponsibility or betrayal. Rather, their reliability is conditional upon mutual respect. If you honor their trust, they'll stand with you even in the darkest hours. If you betray it, the door will close quietly, permanently, without dramatic confrontations but with unmistakable finality. And here lies another unique element of Capricorn's foundation in friendship: their endings are as deliberate as their beginnings. They don't leave people on a whim, they don't end relationships without reason. But when their trust is broken, when they feel they can no longer count on someone, they won't linger in false hope. Their sense of reliability extends to themselves, too. They won't betray their own values or needs for the sake of maintaining an appearance of harmony. The same firmness that makes them loyal makes them uncompromising when boundaries are crossed. To be friends with a Capricorn is to understand that the relationship is rooted in actions, not words. They don't need constant affirmation or flowery speeches about loyalty and love. They need evidence, the small, everyday demonstrations of care and commitment. This may sound demanding, but the beauty of it is that Capricorn lives by the same standards they expect. They don't ask of others what they aren't willing to give. They are the embodiment of reciprocity, steady, reliable, and unwavering. It's easy to romanticize loyalty, but Capricorn embodies it in the most practical way. They'll remember your birthday not because they want praise but because they know it matters to you. They'll check in when you've been unusually quiet because they've noticed the change, not because they're bored. They'll offer to help you move, sit with you in the hospital, or lend you money in a crisis, all without turning it into a performance. For them, showing up is the most natural way of proving care. Their reliability is not for applause, it is simply who they are. If you imagine friendship as a spectrum, with casual acquaintances on one end and soul-deep alliances on the other, Capricorn leans heavily toward the latter. They are not here to fill silence or pass time idly, they are here to build something enduring. Their friendship is like a safe harbor where ships can dock during storms, knowing the waters will always be calm and the shore always firm. And that, perhaps, is the greatest foundation they offer. The certainty that in a world of chaos and unpredictability, at least one connection in your life remains unshakable. And now, a little side note. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a thanks button right under this video, or through the donation alerts link in the description. Your support truly helps me keep creating. And of course, if you enjoy the content, please leave a like and subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. Thank you so much for being here. Now, let's continue. Emotional texture. Reserved warmth hidden beneath armor. Capricorns are often painted with broad strokes that make them seem cold, calculating, or emotionally distant, but to truly know them as a friend is to recognize the quiet complexity beneath that surface. Their emotional texture is layered, like a piece of classical music where the deeper notes carry the real power. They are not the kind of people who rush into friendships with grand displays of affection, nor do they feel compelled to constantly reassure you of their feelings with over-the-top gestures. Instead, their affection is subtle, intentional, and deeply tied to the small ways they weave care into your life. You won't hear a Capricorn say, "I love you, you're my best friend forever," every time you meet. That's not their style. What you will notice is how they pick up on your needs before you articulate them. They're the ones who bring you soup when you're under the weather, not because you asked, but because they were paying attention. They'll remember that obscure artist you mentioned once in passing and surprise you with a book or a playlist related to it. These gestures may seem modest, but they reveal a depth of attention and care that many miss because they're looking for louder, more obvious signs. This reserved approach can easily be misread. Many people, especially those who equate emotional closeness with constant verbal affirmation, may assume Capricorn doesn't care enough or isn't invested. But the truth is far more nuanced. Capricorns feel as deeply as any other sign, sometimes even more so, but they carry those emotions carefully, protecting them like treasures. Their guarded nature isn't about being unfeeling, it's about being discerning. They don't scatter their heart around casually. If they let you close, it's because they've decided you are safe, worthy, and capable of honoring the depth they rarely reveal. Their emotional warmth, therefore, is like a hearth hidden behind a strong, stone wall. From the outside, you might not notice the glow, but step inside their circle of trust and you'll feel it radiating steadily, endlessly. It's not the kind of fire that blazes quickly and burns out. It's the slow, reliable kind that keeps a home warm through the harshest winters. To be loved or cherished by a Capricorn is to know that you have something enduring, something that doesn't falter when the excitement fades or the novelty wears off. One of the most remarkable aspects of Capricorn's emotional world is how their actions often speak louder than their words. For them, consistency is the ultimate love language. They will show up again and again, sometimes quietly, without fanfare, but with a reliability that builds trust brick by brick. They may not write you long, flowery messages about how much you mean to them, but they will drive across town to help you when your car breaks down. They will defend your name when you're not present. They will check in with you after a big event, not because it was on their calendar, but because they've been thinking about how you're handling it. There's also a certain tenderness in the way Capricorns remember details. Unlike those who forget conversations as quickly as they happen, Capricorn stores things away. They might recall a casual remark you made years ago and bring it up at just the right time, reminding you that you're seen, heard, and valued. This memory is not just about being practical, it's emotional. It's their way of showing that your words matter to them, that they carry pieces of you with them as part of their internal world. Yet, because they are so reserved, misunderstandings often arise. Friends might assume a Capricorn doesn't feel much, simply because they don't put emotions on loudspeaker. But if you take the time to observe, you'll notice the little cracks in their armor, the slight softening of their voice when you're vulnerable, the quiet way they offer help without making a show of it, the subtle humor they use to make you smile when you're down. These moments are windows into the vast emotional depth they guard. Capricorns also tend to prefer quality over quantity in their emotional exchanges. They won't flood you with endless texts or constant updates, but when they reach out, it's meaningful. They may choose fewer words, but those words are often thoughtful, grounded, and honest. This minimalism in expression is part of their texture. Less glitter, more substance. It's worth noting that Capricorn's emotional restraint is often rooted in a desire to protect not just themselves, but others. They know emotions can be overwhelming, messy, and sometimes destructive if not handled with care. By holding back, they ensure they never drown you with their inner storms. Instead, they present stability, a calming force in the chaos of life. This doesn't mean they don't experience turbulence. It means they choose to manage it privately, offering their friends a version of themselves that feels steady, even when they are wrestling with deep feelings underneath. To experience Capricorn's warmth is to learn the art of reading between the lines. It requires patience, attentiveness, and trust in the quieter languages of love. Once you attune yourself to these subtleties, you begin to see the glow everywhere, in the way they show up unasked, in the way they notice when you're not quite yourself, in the way they push you to be better without shaming you for where you are. This warmth is enduring, and though it may take longer to access, once revealed, it feels unshakable. Capricorn's emotional texture, then, is not about grand declarations but about quiet resilience. They are like rivers running beneath the earth, hidden from view, but steady, powerful, and essential to life above ground. When you finally recognize the presence of that river in your friendship, you understand that you've tapped into something rare. A form of emotional loyalty that doesn't waver, a warmth that will always be there even if it's not shouted from the rooftops. Humor and playfulness, the secret side of Capricorn. The image of Capricorn is often painted in shades of gray and steel, serious, ambitious, disciplined, perhaps even stern. Many imagine them as the type who spends weekends buried in spreadsheets or obsessing over long-term goals, with no room left for laughter. But here's the truth that surprises almost everyone who gets close. Capricorns are not only capable of humor, they are masters of it. Their humor is not the loud, attention-seeking kind. It's the sharp, sly, and devastatingly effective style that sneaks up on you and leaves you doubled over. If their ambition and discipline are the armor, then their sense of play is the secret weapon hiding beneath it, ready to be unleashed when the timing is just right. Capricorn humor thrives on intelligence. They are not usually interested in slapstick gags or the obvious punchline that everyone sees coming. Instead, they prefer wit that's layered, humor that makes you think before you laugh. Their jokes often land with surgical precision, slipping into the conversation so quietly that it takes a moment for the brilliance to register. And once it does, the laughter spreads like wildfire. A Capricorn friend can sit quietly through an entire discussion, appearing detached or serious, only to drop one perfectly timed remark that shifts the entire mood of the room. The joy of their humor lies not only in the content of the joke but in the sheer unexpectedness of it. This playfulness is deeply tied to trust. Capricorn won't reveal their mischievous side to just anyone. With acquaintances, they may remain formal, polite, even guarded. But once they feel safe with you, once you've been admitted into the inner circle, they let their guard down, and suddenly you're faced with a completely different creature. Their sarcasm becomes sharper, their observations bolder, and their laughter more unrestrained. You realize that beneath the reputation for seriousness is a person who delights in irony, clever wordplay, and the kind of humor that exposes absurdity in everyday life. A classic example of Capricorn humor is their ability to satirize situations without ever breaking their composed demeanor. Imagine them sitting in a meeting, perfectly straight-faced, listening to an overly long presentation. Just when everyone is ready to collapse from boredom, they interject with a single, subtle line that skewers the pretentiousness of the moment. They don't raise their voice, they don't add theatrics, but their timing is so perfect that the entire room bursts into laughter. That's Capricorn at their comedic best. Understated, precise, and unforgettable. Another dimension of their playfulness is mischief. Capricorns are not often thought of as pranksters, but in the right company, they reveal a streak of playful rebellion. They love irony, inside jokes, and clever teases that deepen bonds with their friends. Their mischief is never cruel or humiliating. It's designed to create shared laughter, to build camaraderie. They might poke fun at your quirks, exaggerating them in a playful imitation, but always with affection. And when they see you laugh along with them, it only fuels their delight. Their humor also has an endurance to it. Unlike people who rely on loud antics to get attention, Capricorn doesn't burn out quickly. Their jokes age well, their one-liners become running themes in friendships, and their subtle observations create a humor that lingers long after the moment passes. Friends often recall a Capricorn's remarks weeks later and find themselves laughing all over again. This long-lasting quality of their humor mirrors the long-lasting nature of their loyalty. It's not about flash and spectacle, it's about depth and staying power. There's also a therapeutic quality to Capricorn's humor. Because they are naturally observant and realistic, they can point out absurdities in life that others may miss. They often turn hardships into humorous anecdotes, not to trivialize the pain but to lighten the weight of it. Their humor becomes a tool for resilience, a way of reminding friends that even in life's darkest moments, there's still something to laugh about. In this sense, Capricorn humor is both grounding and uplifting, helping their friends see challenges in a less intimidating light. Yet, Capricorn's playfulness is not constant. It comes in waves, depending on the environment. They are highly attuned to social settings, and they know when it's appropriate to unleash their wit and when it's better to remain composed. This self-control makes their humor even more impactful. Because they don't overuse it, their jokes never lose their freshness. Their friends come to treasure those moments of laughter precisely because they are rare jewels rather than common currency. One of the most charming parts of their humor is how much it surprises people. For those who only know Capricorn on the surface, the sudden glimpse of their playful side can feel like discovering a hidden treasure chest. It humanizes them, softens the perception of rigidity, and creates a sense of intimacy. After all, laughter is one of the most powerful forms of bonding, and when Capricorn laughs with you, it feels like a gift, one that not everyone gets to receive. Their playful side also balances their seriousness. Capricorns carry heavy responsibilities, whether in career, family, or personal goals, and humor becomes the release valve that prevents them from becoming overwhelmed. With close friends, this side emerges more often, showing that even the most disciplined individuals need space to laugh, joke, and let go. This duality, seriousness coupled with play, makes them multifaceted and endlessly intriguing companions. Ultimately, Capricorn's humor and playfulness remind us that they are not defined by ambition alone. They are human beings with a keen eye for irony, a love of cleverness, and an ability to laugh at both the world and themselves. When you're friends with a Capricorn, you don't just get the stability and reliability they're famous for. You also get moments of pure joy, laughter that erupts from unexpected places, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing that beneath the composed exterior is a playful heart that loves to share its light. The best zodiac matches for Capricorn friendships. When it comes to Capricorn's friendships, compatibility is about more than just casual enjoyment of each other's company. For this grounded sign, friendship is serious business, a lifelong pact that requires stability, respect, and a shared vision of loyalty. Because Capricorns invest so much of themselves into their relationships, they naturally thrive with companions who understand their sense of duty, who mirror their commitment, and who balance their reserved yet ambitious nature. Some zodiac signs, by temperament and outlook, seem almost tailor-made to blend with Capricorn's energy. These are not relationships built on fleeting thrills but on profound and enduring harmony. The bonds Capricorn forms with Taurus, Virgo, and Scorpio stand out as some of the richest and most fulfilling of all, each offering something distinct while all providing the reliability and depth that Capricorn cherishes most. Taurus is perhaps the most natural friend for Capricorn, a kindred spirit who shares the earth element's innate desire for security and constancy. Both Taurus and Capricorn move through life with an appreciation for order, a respect for patience, and an unspoken understanding that true value lies not in fleeting highs but in lasting stability. When these two form a friendship, it feels like walking into a serene, well-tended garden where every plant has been carefully chosen and every pathway lovingly maintained. There is no chaos in this connection, no unnecessary drama. They can plan a trip together with ease, because each respects the other's need for comfort and structure. If Taurus suggests a cozy countryside getaway, Capricorn will make sure every logistical detail is accounted for. If Capricorn dreams of building something enduring, a project, a plan, even a tradition, Taurus will happily nurture it with their steady devotion. Trust flows effortlessly between them, because both value honesty and loyalty above all else. Secrets are safe here, promises are sacred, and competition never poisons the bond. Instead, they celebrate each other's successes and share the joys of life's finer pleasures, good food, warm company, a beautifully designed home, without envy or rivalry. For Capricorn, Taurus feels like home, grounding, dependable, and filled with quiet delight. Virgo offers Capricorn something equally precious but in a slightly different flavor. Where Capricorn brings long-term vision and the ability to build structures that last, Virgo provides the meticulous eye for detail that ensures those structures stand firm. Together, they are the ultimate dynamic duo, one seeing the mountain peak, the other carefully charting the safest path upward. Their friendship thrives on mutual respect for each other's strengths. Capricorn admires Virgo's ability to notice the nuances others miss, while Virgo is inspired by Capricorn's determination and patience in achieving monumental goals. Conversations between these two are anything but superficial. They exchange ideas with depth, challenge each other to think critically, and offer practical advice that actually works. When one is overwhelmed, the other steps in with grounded reassurance, not fluffy words but real solutions. Their support system is ironclad, rooted in shared values of responsibility, service, and growth. This is a bond that feels unbreakable because it is constantly reinforced through effort and mutual care. Capricorn finds in Virgo a partner who not only understands their work ethic but matches it with their own devotion, making their friendship feel like a fortress against the unpredictability of life. Then there is Scorpio, a sign many might not immediately pair with Capricorn but one that often forges some of the most transformative friendships this earth sign will ever experience. Scorpio's intensity meets Capricorn's loyalty in a union that is both profound and unforgettable. Scorpio is drawn to Capricorn's steadfastness, the knowledge that when they confide their deepest fears, desires, or secrets, Capricorn will not betray them. In turn, Capricorn is fascinated by Scorpio's emotional depth, the willingness to dive into the murky waters of the human psyche without fear. Together, they create a safe space where vulnerability and strength coexist. This friendship thrives on trust, on the unspoken bond that what is shared between them remains sacred. Unlike more superficial connections, Scorpio and Capricorn are not afraid to confront the darker, heavier aspects of life together. They can sit in silence and still feel understood, or they can talk for hours about things that most people would find too intense. Each respects the other's privacy but also knows when to push gently, encouraging growth and self-discovery. Their friendship is not lighthearted in the usual sense. It is rich, transformative, and often life-changing. For Capricorn, Scorpio provides an emotional depth that softens their reserved exterior, while Capricorn offers Scorpio the stability that grounds their intensity. What ties these three signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Scorpio, together in their compatibility with Capricorn is a shared respect for loyalty, trust, and authenticity. None of them take friendship lightly, and none are interested in shallow or fleeting connections. Each in their own way understands Capricorn's need for enduring bonds. Taurus brings comfort and steadiness, Virgo offers practicality and detail-oriented devotion, and Scorpio provides emotional depth and transformative trust. With them, Capricorn can relax, knowing they don't have to explain why they take life and friendship so seriously. These companions simply get it. They match Capricorn's rhythm, enrich their lives with balance, and stand beside them through triumph and hardship alike. The challenges, signs that clash with Capricorn in friendship. As steady and grounded as Capricorn may be, the truth is that not every sign fits seamlessly into their world. Friendship, after all, is a dance of energies, temperaments, and priorities, and when those rhythms are too far out of sync, the dance floor quickly becomes a battlefield. Capricorn thrives on loyalty, stability, and long-term vision, but not everyone lives life by those rules. Some signs find Capricorn's cautious and disciplined approach restrictive, while Capricorn often struggles to adapt to those who embrace chaos, indecision, or impulsivity. These mismatches don't make friendship impossible, but they do make it more challenging, requiring conscious effort, compromise, and sometimes a willingness to accept fundamental differences. Among the zodiac, Aries, Gemini, and Libra often present the steepest hills for Capricorn to climb in friendship. With Aries, the clash is immediate and undeniable. Aries charges into life like a wildfire, driven by impulse, energy, and the thrill of the moment. They act first and think later, convinced that speed and boldness will solve any problem. Capricorn, by contrast, is the master of careful planning, slow building, and methodical progress. To Capricorn, Aries can appear reckless, their spontaneity bordering on irresponsibility. They see Aries leaping before looking and can't help but cringe at the potential consequences. Capricorn values caution, structure, and preparation, while Aries thrives on risk, adventure, and breaking rules. This fundamental difference often causes frustration. Aries may view Capricorn as overly controlling, rigid, or pessimistic, always slowing things down with what-ifs and be carefuls. Meanwhile, Capricorn may quietly label Aries as unreliable or immature, someone who treats friendship like a thrill ride rather than a sacred bond. Unless both work consciously to balance these extremes, Aries learning patience, Capricorn learning flexibility, tension is almost inevitable. Still, when they do find middle ground, their differences can spark growth. Aries teaches Capricorn to lighten up, while Capricorn shows Aries the value of discipline. Then there's Gemini, a sign that dances through life with light feet, curiosity, and an insatiable appetite for variety. Gemini loves change, thrives on spontaneity, and resists anything that feels too heavy or binding. To Capricorn, this freewheeling nature feels unsettling. Capricorn wants consistency, promises kept, and a sense of structure in friendships. Gemini, however, may disappear for weeks, distracted by a new interest or a new circle of friends, and then return expecting to pick up where they left off. To Capricorn, this behavior seems flaky, as if Gemini cannot be counted on when it truly matters. On the other side, Gemini finds Capricorn's seriousness suffocating. They see Capricorn as a rule maker, someone who cages them with responsibilities and expectations when all they want is freedom to explore. Where Capricorn sees order as comforting, Gemini sees it as confinement. Their friendship can work in short bursts, filled with laughter, storytelling, and stimulating conversations, but over the long haul, sustaining it requires immense effort. Unless Capricorn loosens their grip and Gemini anchors themselves more firmly, the friendship often fizzles out under the weight of unmet expectations. Libra presents yet another challenge for Capricorn. On the surface, these two may get along well, both value connection, both appreciate loyalty, and both enjoy stability in theory. But dig deeper, and cracks begin to show. Libra is charming, diplomatic, and often indecisive, forever weighing options, seeking balance, and trying to keep everyone happy. Capricorn, by contrast, thrives on clarity and decisiveness. They want to know where things stand, what the plan is, and how it will be executed. To Capricorn, Libra's hesitation feels frustrating, as if they are stalling progress for the sake of appearances. Capricorns may also find Libras too focused on social approval, style, or the surface beauty of life, rather than digging into deeper, more meaningful work. In return, Libra can see Capricorn as harsh, overly strict, or judgmental, someone who prioritizes duty and practicality at the expense of joy and flexibility. These two may care for each other deeply, but the tension between Libra's airy indecision and Capricorn's earthy firmness often creates friction. Still, if Libra can learn to make firmer commitments and Capricorn can appreciate Libra's grace in navigating relationships, their differences can complement each other rather than divide them. It's important to note that none of these combinations are doomed to fail. Friendships between Capricorn and Aries, Gemini, or Libra are not impossible. They simply require more patience, compromise, and mutual understanding than friendships with naturally harmonious signs. Capricorn must learn to release their tendency to judge too harshly, to accept that not everyone approaches life with the same discipline. Aries, Gemini, and Libra, in turn, must recognize the value of Capricorn's steadfastness, seeing it not as a burden but as an anchor. When both sides make space for these differences, what seems like a clash can evolve into a friendship that teaches resilience, growth, and a deeper appreciation for perspectives beyond one's own. Capricorn's gift of guidance and mentorship. Capricorn's role in friendship often feels like having a personal compass, steady, precise, and reliable, pointing you toward a clearer path when life's chaos clouds your vision. They naturally step into the role of advisor, mentor, or quiet guide, not because they seek control, but because they genuinely care about your growth and success. They cannot sit idly by when they see you struggling or wandering aimlessly. It's in their nature to help illuminate a direction. Unlike many friends who may comfort you with vague reassurances or idealistic pep talks, Capricorn offers something far more practical: wisdom rooted in experience, strategy built from patience, and advice delivered with a grounded perspective. Imagine you're overwhelmed at work, unsure of how to manage a mounting list of responsibilities. Where others might simply say, "Hang in there, you'll get through it," Capricorn will pull out a notepad, a planner, or even a full spreadsheet if needed, breaking your challenges into step-by-step solutions. They'll map out what needs to be done first, what can wait, and how you can pace yourself without collapsing under pressure. This pragmatic approach is one of their greatest gifts. They don't just soothe your anxieties with words, they equip you with tools that make the obstacles less intimidating. In their world, problems aren't meant to be feared. They're puzzles to be solved with patience and persistence. Their ability to guide often extends to financial matters, where Capricorn's innate sense of responsibility truly shines. If you're struggling with budgeting, debt, or saving for something important, Capricorn is the friend who has already researched every method of financial planning and tested most of them personally. They won't mock you for your mistakes, but they won't sugarcoat them either. Instead, they'll walk you through practical steps: how to cut unnecessary spending, how to set realistic goals, and how to stick to a plan without feeling deprived. Their satisfaction doesn't come from lecturing. It comes from seeing you regain control and confidence in areas that once felt overwhelming. Dreams and ambitions are another realm where Capricorn thrives as a mentor. While many friends will cheer you on with vague encouragement like, "You can do it," Capricorn takes a more detailed approach. They'll sit with you and dissect your dream, asking tough but necessary questions. What resources do you need? How much time will it take? What potential obstacles could derail you, and how can you prepare for them now? At first, Their line of questioning may feel intense, even intimidating, but beneath it lies an unwavering faith in your potential. Capricorn doesn't ask because they doubt you, they ask because they want you to be fully equipped to succeed. To them, supporting your dreams means arming you with the knowledge and foresight you'll need to actually achieve them. This guiding quality stems from Capricorn's natural relationship with responsibility and time. They have learned, often through hard experience, that nothing lasting is built overnight. They understand setbacks, they know the sting of failure, and they also know the triumph of perseverance. When they offer advice, it is rarely theoretical. It's born of lessons they've already lived, trials they've already endured, and wisdom they've carefully cultivated along the way. That's why their words carry weight. They aren't simply reciting cliches, they're handing you tested strategies, forged in the fire of their own challenges. Of course, Capricorn's honesty is part of what makes their mentorship so impactful, but also what can make it sting. They don't specialize in flattery. If your plan is unrealistic, they'll say so. If your choices are self-sabotaging, they won't pretend otherwise. This bluntness can feel harsh in the moment, especially if you're used to people who soften their words. But over time, you realize that Capricorn's honesty is an act of respect. They believe you are strong enough to handle the truth, and they care too much to let you march toward failure unprepared. Their truth may sting, but it saves you from pain that would hurt far worse in the long run. Their mentorship style is also refreshingly consistent. They don't swoop in with advice once and then disappear. They check in, they ask about your progress. They hold you accountable in the gentlest but firmest way. When you falter, they don't scold. They remind you of the bigger picture and help you refocus. When you succeed, they celebrate quietly but sincerely, knowing that your victory is also a reflection of the time, thought, and care they invested in you. What's more, Capricorn never gives advice they wouldn't follow themselves. Their integrity is their trademark. They live by the same rules they encourage you to adopt, which is why their guidance resonates so deeply. You never feel as though they're speaking down to you. You feel as though they're walking beside you, pointing out paths they've already traveled, warning you of pitfalls they've already encountered. Their mentorship is humble in this way. It comes not from superiority, but from shared humanity and the willingness to help you avoid mistakes they once made. In friendships, this gift often creates a dynamic where Capricorn becomes the grounding force, the reliable anchor others turn to when life becomes overwhelming. People instinctively lean on them because they exude competence, wisdom, and an aura of stability. And while Capricorn may sometimes grow weary of always being the strong one, they rarely turn people away. They find purpose in being the advisor, the builder of bridges, the one who helps others see the light at the end of the tunnel. Ultimately, Capricorn's gift of guidance and mentorship is one of the most precious qualities they bring to friendship. They won't just be the shoulder you cry on. They'll be the voice that helps you dry your tears, stand up, and take the first step toward a solution. They won't just cheer for your dreams from the sidelines. They'll sit down with you, map them out, and walk with you through every stage of the journey. Their advice may not always be easy to hear, but it will always be what you need to grow, to succeed, and to thrive. In a world full of empty words and fleeting promises, Capricorn's grounded mentorship stands as a rare gift, a steady hand guiding you not just through friendship, but through life itself. The legacy of Capricorn friendships, timeless bonds. There is something almost sacred about the way Capricorn approaches friendship, and nowhere is this more evident than in the lasting legacy they leave behind. For Capricorn, friendships are not disposable or interchangeable, but living, breathing commitments woven into the fabric of their lives. Unlike some signs who thrive on constant social variety or who collect acquaintances like trinkets, Capricorn values depth over breadth. They are not interested in having dozens of casual connections. They are searching for a few relationships that matter, ones that can endure the tests of time, distance, and circumstance. This is why their friendships often feel timeless, as if they exist outside the normal rules of change and decay. A Capricorn friend becomes like an oak tree, rooted, resilient, and unshaken by the storms that cause other bonds to splinter. What makes their legacy so remarkable is not only their ability to hold on to friendships but the quality of the bonds they create. When Capricorn calls you a friend, they are not doing so lightly. They have measured, tested, and observed you, and they have decided you belong in their inner circle. Once you're in, you can expect loyalty that doesn't fade when life gets complicated. Even if years pass without regular contact, reconnecting with a Capricorn feels effortless. There is no awkwardness, no guilt for lost time, only the comforting sense that nothing has truly changed. It is as though the friendship was carefully stored away in a secure vault, preserved in perfect condition, waiting for the moment when it would be needed again. This longevity comes from Capricorn's deep respect for history and continuity. They understand that life moves in cycles, that people get busy, drift apart, or face periods where communication is sparse. But unlike those who equate silence with abandonment, Capricorn sees the bigger picture. They know that true bonds are not so fragile that they crumble under the weight of time. Their patience allows them to pick up right where things left off, with no resentment or judgment. In their eyes, the foundation they built with you still stands strong, even if the walls haven't been tended to for a while. That kind of forgiveness, that kind of perspective, is rare and deeply comforting. Capricorn friendships also endure because they are not fueled by drama or superficial excitement. Many friendships burn brightly in the beginning, sustained by constant activity, shared thrills, or intense emotional highs, only to fizzle out when the spark fades. Capricorn does not build on such unstable ground. Their friendships are not about how exciting someone makes their life feel in the moment but about whether that person can walk beside them through years of change. They prefer the steady, slow-burning fire to the quick flare of passion. This means that their relationships often grow stronger with time, aging like fine wine rather than losing flavor. Stability, growth, and belonging form the pillars of Capricorn's approach, and because of this, their friendships feel less like fleeting companionships and more like chosen family. The timelessness of Capricorn's bonds also comes from the values they bring into every relationship: loyalty, respect, and dependability. They do not make promises lightly, so when they promise to stand by you, they mean it. They will celebrate your milestones, mourn your losses, and stand quietly in your corner when the world feels heavy. This reliability leaves an imprint that lasts a lifetime. Even those who are no longer close to a Capricorn often look back on the friendship with gratitude, remembering the stability and care they once received. In this way, Capricorn's legacy extends beyond active friendships. It lingers in memories, shaping how people understand what true loyalty feels like. Capricorn's timeless bonds are also reinforced by their ability to grow with their friends. They don't expect relationships to remain static. Just as they themselves evolve with age and experience, they make space for their friends to change, too. They don't hold you hostage to who you were 10 years ago. Instead, they respect your journey and adapt to the person you are becoming. This flexibility ensures that their friendships don't just survive the passing of time but thrive within it. They may tease you about your past selves, but they will also embrace your present and support your future, making the relationship feel alive no matter how much life shifts. Another reason Capricorn's friendships feel eternal is the way they integrate them into the very rhythm of their lives. They create traditions, rituals, and routines that reinforce connection. Whether it's a yearly trip, a holiday gathering, or even a simple tradition of checking in on birthdays, these rituals act as threads that keep the bond strong. Over decades, these small acts accumulate into a tapestry of shared history. When you look back, you don't just remember isolated moments, you see a rich, layered story that you and Capricorn have built together. For those fortunate enough to count a Capricorn as a friend, the message is simple: cherish them. Their loyalty is rare, their steadiness invaluable, and their presence a treasure. In a world where so many relationships are fleeting, where busyness and distraction often erode bonds, Capricorn stands apart as a reminder that true friendship can still be enduring, meaningful, and lasting. Their legacy is not just in the memories they leave behind but in the living bonds they maintain, bonds that outlast distance, time, and circumstance. Capricorn friendships are the kind you carry with you for life. They are the relationships that define chapters of your story, that give you roots when everything else feels unstable. They are not just companions for the good times but anchors in the storm, steady and unshaken. This is why, when you look back decades from now, the faces of your Capricorn friends will still stand out in your memory, etched with the kind of permanence that only true loyalty can create. Their friendships are not fleeting episodes but lifelong narratives, timeless, enduring, and as steady as the mountain that symbolizes their sign. Capricorn in friendship is like a mountain, solid, steady, sometimes hard to climb, but once you reach the top, the view is breathtaking. They may test your patience with their reserved nature, but if you're willing to understand their rhythm, you'll gain a lifelong ally who will stand by your side through every storm. To understand Capricorn as a friend, you must first picture the essence of a mountain. It doesn't move to meet you. It doesn't bend or shift to make your climb easier. Instead, it stands where it has always stood, unshaken, timeless, and enduring. At first, it can feel intimidating. Its height is daunting, its silence unnerving, and its lack of instant accessibility might make you wonder if the effort is worth it. Yet, the more you climb, the more you discover. Hidden trails emerge, quiet resting places reveal themselves, and eventually, the summit offers a perspective unlike anything else. That is Capricorn in friendship, not instantly open, not immediately easy, but profoundly rewarding for those willing to invest the effort. Capricorn doesn't give their loyalty away freely. Unlike signs that embrace anyone with open arms, Capricorn takes time. They study people carefully, observing how you handle promises, how you treat others, and whether you respect boundaries. It's not suspicion so much as discernment. They want to know if you're worthy of the energy they're willing to invest because, for Capricorn, friendship is never casual. It is a long-term commitment, a bond they intend to keep alive even when years pass and circumstances change. When you finally gain their trust, it feels like stepping into a private sanctuary, rare, intimate, and fiercely protected. At times, their steady nature can test your patience. Capricorn doesn't rush into emotional intimacy. They may not call every day, flood you with messages, or gush about their feelings. To some, this can feel cold or distant. But beneath that calm, measured exterior is a depth of loyalty and warmth that expresses itself not in dramatic gestures but in consistency. They'll be the friend who shows up when no one else does, the one who quietly remembers your preferences, the one who listens carefully and offers guidance rooted in practicality rather than empty platitudes. With Capricorn, the friendship isn't loud, but it is strong, and often stronger than the ones filled with noise and drama. What makes the mountain metaphor so accurate is not only their steadiness but also the fact that they require effort. You cannot simply declare yourself close to a Capricorn. You must earn it, and in the process of earning it, you discover qualities that make the climb worthwhile: resilience, wisdom, humor hidden like gems in the rock face, and an unwavering ability to weather storms without crumbling. Capricorn is not interested in shallow connections. They want bonds that are tested, bonds that prove themselves when life isn't easy. They want to know that when they invest in you, it will be for the long haul. When storms hit, whether those storms are personal crises, professional setbacks, or emotional upheavals, Capricorn stands unshaken. Like a mountain, they may not offer wild comfort or effusive sympathy, but their presence itself is stabilizing. You feel calmer simply because they are there, grounded and immovable, reminding you that not everything in life is chaos. They'll help you rebuild, step by step, showing you practical solutions when you feel lost. Their gift is not in sweeping you away from your problems but in standing beside you until the problems feel manageable. And yet, friendship with Capricorn is not only about endurance or resilience. It's also about the breathtaking view once you've reached the top. Once you've proven yourself and they've let you into their inner world, you discover richness that others rarely see. Their humor, dry and sharp, catches you off guard and makes you laugh harder than you expected. Their loyalty, once fully revealed, feels unshakable. Their advice, though sometimes blunt, guides you toward stronger versions of yourself. In those moments, you understand why the climb was worth it, because the view from Capricorn's summit is not only beautiful but transformative. Ultimately, Capricorn in friendship represents a paradox. They are both the hardest and the most rewarding kind of friend to have. They require patience, understanding, and resilience from those who wish to be close to them. But in return, they offer something far rarer than constant excitement or shallow affection. They offer permanence. They offer stability in a world where so much is fleeting. They offer the kind of bond that doesn't break when tested, that doesn't fade when forgotten, that doesn't crumble under pressure. So yes, Capricorn can be a mountain, solid, steady, and sometimes difficult to climb. But for those willing to make the effort, the reward is extraordinary. The view is breathtaking, not because Capricorn is flashy or overwhelming, but because they reveal what true, timeless friendship looks like: grounded, enduring, and forever dependable. With Capricorn, you don't just gain a friend, you gain a constant in a world full of variables, a rock to lean on, and a summit worth every step of the climb.